Nick, today we've got something very different to usual, I guess, because we've got our first female guest.
Vera,
Ah.
wow,
The first
hello.
female guest.
I didn't
Today-
realize until you said it actually.
It makes me feel good. Thank
I
you.
forgot you never had any females.
a dozen episodes later, and we've got our first female. Maybe our social interactions skills with females isn't great. Today, guys, we're joined by with Gaia.
Hello.
By with
By with Gaia.
with
Yes,
Gaia.
it's okay.
I think Gaia is one of the greatest youth stories and youth come up stories, I guess, in the
Science. Thank you.
in the space. Being a North Star for all
Or
Malta
Yes.
in the music scene, artist scene, I
not-
think.
Not only, I think there's a lot of people who look up to her who aren't like into music or into singing. because-
Definitely.
I mean, even like me, when I look at you, you've done a lot of cool stuff. So
Thank you.
I think you do serve as a kind of North Star for young people who say, "Oh wow, look, she's doing that,
Mhm.
and I think I can do the same in my own thing."
For sure.
So-
It doesn't just have to be musical.
And
Can
you've,
do.
you've done it so young. That's the most impressive thing. When did you start singing?
I started singing
In inverted
in
commas?
inverted commas when I was around 2 years old, 2.5. My mom kind of pushed me to do it. She didn't force me into it, but when I was young, when I was in kindergarten, I used to have a lot of confidence on stage, and the headmistress, she pulled my mom to the side and she was like, you should try singing or dancing or something, you know, because I was always the one that wanted to do everything. Even if someone else had a line, I would like look at them and I would be like, it's your turn now, you know. I knew everyone's part. So I started singing. I used to sing, I used to dance. I am horrible at dancing. And I used to do modeling. And I think that the modeling part really helped me with the confidence that I have today as well.
All this at what
Nowadays.
age?
It varied from 4 years old to 8 maybe. And then I realized that I just wanted to do singing.
So when did you voluntarily start singing, like doing lessons maybe, or taking the practice a bit more seriously?
I think I started at around 5 or 6. I used to love it. So it was never something that I ever thought like I don't want to be doing this, you know. It's all I've ever known. So it was always in me, tipo. It's something that I always love to do.
Loving your craft is one of the most important things
For
to make
sure.
to making it feel less rigid. One of my favorite tennis players, Emma Raducanu. She's one of the best tennis players because she's actually enjoying her time at training. Like
Mhm.
when she realizes she's not enjoying her time at training, she's not getting the same results. She's there to enjoy it, and she gets good results. And I mean, it showed in her performances. Amazing athlete. So enjoying it should be one of the top priorities.
Definitely. And if you don't enjoy it, you won't be doing it in the long run, for sure. You'll
And
just be doing it temporarily.
You've already been doing it for a long time.
Exactly. That is
So
why
you're
I know that.
21 now, right?
Yes, 21.
You posted something on LinkedIn recently when you're 20 years old and they ask you for 10 years of experience.
Yes.
Speaking of 10 years of experience, 10 years ago, right around this time,
Yes.
you dropped the bomb, and what was the big moment?
The big moment was Junior Eurovision. I had just turned 11 years old. And it was very different. And it was quite the experience, you could say, because I was a kid, I was a child. So I dropped the bomb on everyone in Malta, and I dropped it on myself because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. For sure.
How's that like being like? I don't remember what the fuck I was doing at 11 years old, but you did something quite big.
I don't remember what I was doing at 11 years old either. I was
Really?
having this conversation with someone last week. I don't really remember anything from my childhood. It was always just music, so I don't remember what I used to do when I wasn't doing music. I don't remember who I used to hang out with. Like small things that other people, I guess, at my age would be like, oh yes, when I was 11 years old, I used to do this and this. I don't know what I used to
I
do
have
at
the
11
same
years
problem
old
actually.
at all.
There are like patches I remember, but not. There's a blur between like 6 years old and like 13, 12.
Yes.
Probably when you hit your head a few times as well, like me.
Maybe a few concussions I remember. Well, I don't remember from those
Sad.
times. Leading up to that, was it? So the team around you. This is something that I'm really curious about, because as a 10-year-old, you wouldn't necessarily want. I mean, I don't think personally it would work out if you have immense pressure from the people around you. So how do people put
sure.
it that you're on the biggest stage at 10 years old of I mean, is it the European scene, I guess, of singing, or the world? Yeah, I mean, the world watches the
The world,
Eurovision.
which is it for sure.
So you're on the biggest stage for singing and like performance overall, and they're trying to dial it down. That you're not nervous about it. How does that work?
I think when it comes to Junior Eurovision, it's not as stressful as the adult one, so the
Okay.
Eurovision Song Contest. But I don't. Stress doesn't really affect me when it comes to music. Anything else, yes, very much. But I remember going on stage. I was waiting for my turn to sing, and I was singing the song of the contestant before me, and I was singing. I was dancing. It never affected me when I was young. When I was growing up, as I started to grow up, it was kind of getting to me a bit because I was experiencing anxiety and all this stuff. And when I was young, I don't ever remember feeling stressed or anxious. But as I started growing up and having like all these negative comments, like you're talking about an 11-year-old girl, you know, and I used to get so many negative comments on Facebook, on everything.
Did you have Facebook at that time, or was it like?
I had Facebook to play Farmville.
Okay.
But I didn't used to use it. I opened my Instagram account. I think it was the day after I had one.
Okay.
So you can imagine, I was never really into it.
You mentioned when you were younger, you didn't have this kind of anxiety and stress that
Mhm.
slowly built up. Do you think that's something related to the expectations you started to realize that people have of you?
Definitely.
So, of course, when you're 11, 10, you might not understand that, but
Mhm.
as you grew older,
Yes.
maybe some expectations you started seeing from maybe your parents, family, friends.
I wouldn't say it was from my family or from my friends. It was mostly from the public. Because after the Junior Eurovision, I had like 2 years. It was still like a big thing, and then I was like, okay, so what do I do now? You know, I did enter a few other competitions, but they weren't as big as Junior Eurovision. And then when I was 15 years old, I had done X Factor, and I think after X Factor, that is when it hit me like I need a fucking break, you know. And after X Factor, it was the moment where I realized that I need to slow things down a bit. When I was young, everything was managed by my parents, so I didn't really have anything to worry about, you know, speaking to people or dealing with anything. But then as I was growing up, you start getting responsibilities, and yeah, it was an eye opener for sure.
So you went to X Factor UK, right? At
Yes,
15.
15.
How was that like? Because I think by then you start to feel the pressure of going on stage in front of all of these people in a country you don't really live in.
Exactly. X Factor was the milestones I always wanted to reach. So any interview, you can go and watch all of them back. Anyone, when they asked me like, what do you wish that you would do in your career, whatever, and I would always say X Factor. I would always say I want to perform in front of Simon Cowell. And when I was on stage and as I was doing that, I was like, I'm actually here, you know, like after all those years of mentioning it and talking about it. And the thing that I kind of appreciated the most was that I never applied to go on the show. I was scouted. So they had been trying to email me for months. And because I was 15 years old, I had a Hotmail account back then. And Hotmail had changed the rules, and you could only have back your email account back if you are 16 years old. And because I was 15, they took away my account, and they were emailing me on that account for months,
which you didn't have access to.
I didn't have access to. And then somehow they found my mom's number and they had called her, and that's when I found out that I was going to audition.
These
Wow.
scouts have like the craziest skills.
I know.
They're like better than
It's
agents.
true.
And they're like
It's true.
investigators, I
It's
think,
true.
sometimes. That's super. So comparing the Eurovision with X Factor, was it the realization that you're older now, so you're more aware of the situation, which was more like gave you more anxiety, or was it like you put X Factor at the tip of your mountain, so Eurovision was just a part of it?
I feel like as a person, I always want to do more. So Junior Eurovision, I had done Junior Eurovision when I was 11. X Factor was when I was 15. So it was kind of, in my head, it was that I was doing something more. So when I did X Factor, it was like, oh, like now I am kind of growing up, you know. And when I was there, I thought that I was finally making it in a way, that I was doing what I actually wanted to be doing. And it felt like that for a while. I had made some very, very, very good friends. I was put in a girl group for the first time, and I had never sung with anyone else, ever.
Okay,
ever,
so this
ever.
was a singing group.
Yes.
And how many people was that?
We were 5 girls.
Okay, that's quite a big group.
Yes. And our personalities were
Clashing.
totally different.
Were they all older than you?
Yes. I think I was the youngest one, actually. Yes.
Are you still friends with these people? or-
Yes,
Okay.
I am. But it was very dramatic, and of course, you know how girls are. There was a lot of jealousy
At that
and
age,
all,
especially, I think.
exactly. And everyone was kind of fighting for the spotlight, the one person that kind of
Wins the show.
yes, in a group. And you cannot be like that in a group for sure. And it just didn't work out. But we made it to judges' houses. Our mentor was Robbie Williams, and we spent a couple of days at his house in LA. So it was amazing, but we didn't make it through to the live shows, and I don't know how it would have worked out if we did, because it wasn't that amazing, you could say, our chemistry together, and it showed. And as soon as they told us that we didn't make it through to the live shows, they kind of pushed us aside. So even at the airport, everything, they just didn't give a shit about us, basically. And I felt it a lot. And I think after that experience, everything just went downhill, because I was there. I was doing everything that I want to be doing in life. And in a split of a second, they just took it away from me.
You've
No.
reached the highest mountain, sort of, and you have the post-holiday blues.
Yes, for sure.
If you're single and you're posting, like it may come across. I'm not saying that it could be the case, but may come across that you're doing it to get the attention of the boys and like showing you're single, I guess.
Mm,
Do you do that?
no.
I feel like a lot of people do that.
I feel like I know a lot of people who do it.
Maybe I'm talking a more general approach. I'm not talking.
Yes, could
maybe I'm
be.
not talking to the right person who doesn't. I mean, who doesn't do this. So
Mostly I do it if I'm posting a photo in my bikini or in my underwear, it's because I am promoting something. It's because I am promoting a brand. I do work with a brand that promotes, that sells underwear and swimwear and whatever. So most of the time I'm posting once a month because that is my contract basically. And other than that, I wouldn't post a lot of, mainly because I'm not super comfortable in my body maybe. But I wouldn't post it for other people's attention.
So wait, are you
kind
saying
of.
that if you didn't have a contract with bikini
I
wear
wouldn't
or-
post as
Often.
frequently, yes.
Okay, and you wouldn't do that because you said you don't feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
in your body. And where
Yes.
does that stem from?
What do you mean?
Not being comfortable in your body. Is it something that you think comes from social media because you look at other people and what other people do?
Mostly.
So social media is toxic. So
It is very. I'm telling you, if I wasn't into music or if I didn't do social media, I wouldn't have social media.
you delete
I
it.
hate it. I hate it with a passion. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. The only reason why I keep it and I only post whatever I want to post is because I know that I have a younger audience as well watching me. And I feel like a lot of people look up to me. So I kind of have to, I feel responsible. Like I have to be there for them, you know, because I get a lot of messages from young girls. Like saying that they look up to me and thank you for blah, blah, blah. And every now and then, like I wouldn't even know that I would be doing something that is affecting other people, you know? So you always have to be cautious. And that is the reason why I keep it. And it has become a side job as well. So I am promoting brands, companies, whatever.
What's the turnover? So of posting a photo like that, because we're just like speaking about it. Does that translate to more people DMing you, or
I don't get messages from guys.
is that realistic?
I promise you.
I don't believe
I
her.
swear. I can show you right now. I swear I don't get messages from guys.
Let's
You
see.
can
Let's
you
see.
can
Let's
see
see the
it.
requests.
I promise you.
The
Look.
message requests.
Look,
Because maybe they're
Look. I promise. I
Okay,
don't.
so we're having a look through it. Can we see the requests? Okay, she has
so
one request.
wait,
let's see.
wait. The request. No, I have a lot of requests.
okay.
Okay,
So
you
the
have-
requests are mostly
Okay, so
Oh,
old guys, old guys, old
okay,
men.
so this is not. Of course, we're not going to read any names out or the contents of the messages. So this is about singing. So I don't think he's sliding into. a
no,
DM.
you didn't read it all.
No, so
Um,
most of them are beautiful, sexy, wow, hot, but they're from older men.
Okay.
Older men.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
I
not
can
from.
see
They're
that.
not from
So-
people our age. I hate when people chew loudly. I hate when people eat with their hands. I need.
What do you
So
mean eat with their hands? Like you
No,
going to eat a
no,
burger or a pizza or
I will eat
fries?
it with the fork.
Really?
Even a pizza, I will cut it.
I even eat meat with my hands.
No.
I mean, as you can see, I'm very practical, at least what I try to do. So when I'm in a formal setting, you know, I just jam the fork, I hold it up, and I
Uh-huh.
just cut.
Uh-huh.
Like that's what I'll be doing. But if I'm at home, I'll
What else? Can I
if I
let's
say
see.
this, I'm gonna get the ick. I'm gonna give the ick to many people. If I'm feeling lazy, I'll tell my mom to cut it. I'll tell her to cut it in strips, and then I just take the strips with my finger.
But I feel like everyone's done that before.
But I do it
Now-
consistently, you know.
Oh my god.
No,
It's
but
fine.
for
Just
example,
pretend like we didn't hear it.
what about crisps and stuff like that? No.
No, crisp is fine. But for example, this is something I hate. If you're touching food with your hands and you grab the glass and it gets
Oh,
all
that's disgusting.
oily and I hate it. And I need to have to take a shower at least twice. One in the morning and
Before you
before I sleep. At least, because if I'm at home and I was out in the morning and I went home and I'm going out in the afternoon, I will shower again. But that's just me. And I know that's for many people, it's very normal to shower once a day. But for example, if I'm sleeping over or if he's sleeping at my house in my bed, you have to shower before you get
do you
you have to
sit?
shower in the
You sit on the bed with outside clothes?
No.
I don't do that.
No,
either.
no. You have to take them off. Even if it's not my bed, I need you to take off your clothes before you get into bed. There are a lot of things that I hate.
So
I
some
feel like
OCD?
It's very yes, OCD. But then if you come into my room, it's a mess.
Oh, I hate that. I hate
It's a
it.
mess. It's a mess.
No, that's clutter in your brain.
I know. It's
The room
true.
has to be when you wake up. If you can't do your bed, just do one sheet, do one quilt.
No,
and
no.
like,
Yes, that's fine. But
so do your bed immediately. That's like half the room.
yes.
Close the doors of your cupboards, of
No,
your
no,
wardrobe.
yes, of course. But most of the clutter is clothes.
Oh,
Get a bin.
I
Get a
have
bin.
lot of clothes.
Get a bin. Or like, don't get any bean bags in your rooms. This
No,
is
no,
a
I
good
don't
tip.
have it.
No bean bags, no chairs, nothing. Get a
My chair
bin
is full of clothes.
for like
Full.
what, like €2, a laundry basket, and put your clothes in it, and then
No, they're all folded. I just
No,
need to
just-
put them away. But
so
if
you-
I'm not home at
Ah.
all, I need to actually plan a day to put my things in.
So you're
in their
I think
place.
you're like me. You have a bunch of clothes on the bed, and when you go to sleep, you just remove them, sleep, and then you wake up, you put them back on the bed.
Not on the bed. I've had instances where I was super tired and I had clothes on my bed and I just slept.
you push them to the side and you sleep on the other half.
Yes. But now I have a dog, and I feel like he's creating most of the mess because there are toys, there's his nappy on the corner. I have his slide because he's a sausage dog and he can't jump on the bed. So there are a
He
lot
just
of
slides
his
down.
things. He slides
Slide.
and he goes up. He's funny.
That's a good strategic move to get a dog, so you pretend that the mess isn't yours, no? So
No,
good on you.
most of it is mine, but a lot of it is his as well.
Nick, do we have any sponsors today?
Definitely not the donuts that Gaia got us this morning. Gaia got us some donuts this morning. I think that was a test, actually. She wanted to see if we'll get a fork and a knife or if we grab them with our hands. We
that's
grab
fine.
them with our hands.
I will. Something else I hate if someone does this after eating, like
No.
on his clothes.
Oh shit, I think I did that.
What
When you
about
gave me the
that's good
donuts.
Licking
thing
your
I didn't see
fingers.
you.
Worse.
Depends on how much
You know-
stuff you have on it.
Have you ever like been like maybe driving in a car and you look next to you and there's an old guy in a car and he sneezes on his hands and then he just wipes on his clothes and you can see it.
I mean, I haven't seen them like wiping on their clothes, but I've seen people picking their nose.
No,
and
I'm a nose
eating
picker
it
and
and
that
I'm
thing. Of
like,
course. I mean,
no.
it's like a hobby.
The Rick is dying there.
Wait. So I read somewhere that when I see a police car, I get really nervous in the road. I
Mhm.
can,
Yeah,
I can
even
be
me.
innocent, okay?
Yeah.
And I read somewhere that people are like the most natural when they're picking their nose. That seem the least suspicious. So then when I
That's
see,
actually
like,
very true.
I just pick my
You
nose.
pick your nose.
But like,
Ah!
it's
the
not
police.
exactly picking my nose. It's just like feeling around. I'm not picking anything.
Feeling
It's
around.
like, I mean, like around. Like,
No, you can get a ticket for that.
No.
No.
Well, technically you can, but for not having both of your hands on the steering,
I'd
you
have-
can get a ticket.
I'd have no hands on the steering at that time.
Did that ever happen to you, actually, where police or someone pulled you over? I don't know, because maybe once you
My
told me,
driving
actually.
test was like that, in fact. I had done the test, I had done my driving test, and it went perfect. He marked nothing on his paper.
Wow,
How
amazing.
much did you pay him?
Nothing. I parked the car in one take. I didn't even straighten it to go in front. It was perfect, like one. And then he told me, "All right, park your honey." I had to call your tutor or driving instructor. I was like, why did you tell him to come up for the test? And he was like, what do you mean? He drove really well, didn't he? I was like, can you see how he's driving? Yes, he drives normally. I told him, no, how is he supposed to drive? I told him he's meant to drive with like an addition on the steering. Oh, but he drives perfectly fine, my instructor told him. No, but it's not safe on the roads if there's a bump and the steering turns. And it was like,
But if you were fine, what?
and then he filled up some squares on his paper just so he says he filled up something, but he found nothing wrong.
So he
Like,
tried to make it difficult for you.
exactly.
Want to call him out?
I have no idea what his name is, but
Fuck you.
his glasses were taped.
Should have
His
punched him in
his
the face.
sunglasses were like. Yeah. I mean,
All right.
thanks for my driver's license, but
fuck you.
no, respectfully.
Respectfully,
There are
fuck you.
different abilities, so.
So you got it on your first try.
Yes. Well,
You?
I'm always a safe driver, I believe.
First try,
so-
guy.
First
Why?
try.
How many tries?
I know.
She wanted to one up us, huh?
Manual or automatic?
Manual.
Or
But
no,
now I drive an automatic.
I got
well.
mine on automatic.
It's easier.
Yeah,
It's
especially in the
easier to-
traffic, right?
Yes.
How many attempts did it take you? Or in Gozo,
once.
they just do
I
it
got
with zero.
mine.
You just get it.
I got mine the day I turned 18, or the day after I turned
How?
18.
So that's illegal.
That's so
Well,
illegal.
Technically, for any police watching, the statute of limitations passed now, so you can't really do anything about it. No, but I used to. So before you're 18, you can take driving lessons with a parent or a guardian or
yes.
something.
That's not in Malta.
Of course, you can do it. Yes, before you're 18.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, when you're 17.
And you always used to have a parent with you.
Let's cut to the break, guys. Let's cut to
will
the
be
Thank you so
break.
much.
Very soon. Quick pause. We're gonna have a few sponsor ads and.
It was the weirdest event that you've sang at. And by I mean weirdest or abnormal or man uncomfortable.
You sing at funerals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you sing at funerals.
How's
Yes.
that?
I mean, most of the time, if someone messages me and they're like, my dad or my mom or whoever, they passed away, and we would like you to sing at the whatever. Tipo, if you don't know, thank you. If you don't know the person, I just try to close my eyes whenever I'm singing so I don't cry. Because if I look at someone crying, I will cry. But the worst ones, I would say, they're of children. Horrible.
Okay.
And whenever I had,
Even if you have no emotional
yes, even
or
if I,
no
if I
relation,
have
you
no
still
idea who
feel
they
it.
are, yes, for sure. And I don't charge them money at all. So it's still work, but when it comes to kids, I can't. I would feel horrible for it. I can't. I could never.
Thanks for killing the vibe, Tom, with that question.
I mean, because that would be like, because a wedding is a celebration,
Mhm.
and maybe a funeral could be considered a celebration into, I mean,
Depends.
out of pain. Exactly.
Mhm.
If it's a shock, I mean, it's different. But
So, what other places have you sang apart from weddings, actually? I mean, and like stage, any weird or abnormal performances?
I don't think I've had any.
private shows, maybe.
I've had, but I don't think I've ever had any weird experiences. It's mostly when I come off the stage, rather when I'm on stage. I mean, I guess if it's a party, if it's an event, people are drunk and
You get heckled.
they start hugging a bit more than they should. They're supposed to, and the hands go on the waist, and and it is kind of does make me very uncomfortable. But you just have to be like, oh, thank you, bye, and I just leave.
We're going very very uncomfortable territory. I don't like. These are some things, but that aren't spoken enough about.
No, they're not.
So, do you think there should be more like? Would you call someone out if they're?
Yes, I've done it in the past.
Okay.
Really?
For sure.
What way?
Once I remember I was taking part in this competition, and afterwards I was saying hello to my family and to my friends because they came to watch, and there was this guy, and he always takes a photo with me, and he asked for a picture, and I said yes, and usually I kind of keep my distance, I don't, even if they wrap their hands around me, it does make me uncomfortable, but not everyone is the same. And this guy, he grabbed, yes, and I did this to him, and I called him out in front of everyone. I said, if you fucking touch me again, call the police. It was horrible. But there's not much you can do about it, unfortunately. As in, if it's a one-time thing, sometimes it's a hassle to go through all that shit for.
You think it's a hassle, but isn't it something that people can actually look up to you and say, listen, I've seen Gaia stick up for herself, someone I really look up to, and it just only takes one to start, like,
of course.
So
no, as in, I've done it in the past, and I will continue to do it. And there were times where I did take it to the police. There's someone that follows me around every now and then whenever I have gigs and stuff. And I've had enough now. But I always try to keep someone very close to me, because I don't trust anyone. It could be men, it could be women. I don't trust anyone, because some people are overconfident, and I don't like that.
So you actually have a stalker?
Yes. I've had him for a very long time.
Say that again?
I've had him for a very long time.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's like you've had a pet for a very long time. Of how you're saying.
It's true.
Wow, that's.
How do you deal with that?
Really...
Like,
I've had gigs where he was there, and I mean, you cannot.
What does he do exactly?
He does nothing. He just sits there. But even the fact that not even my mom comes to all of my gigs, not even my friends come to all of my gigs. So why is this person always there? It makes me feel uncomfortable. But if he is not doing anything, then
have you ever spoken to him?
I have. As in, this started when I was 11 years old, and 11 years old.
I'm sorry I'm sounding ignorant or like,
No.
but I'm trying to wrap my head around
it.
Because don't you have anything better to do with your time?
I don't think they do. If I'm being honest.
Is it mental illness?
I don't know. It's not a topic I'd like to get into.
It's very sensitive. But no, I think we have someone who's capable of actually communicating that it's okay to speak about these things, not hold them to yourself, because that's when it gets bad, when you're taking on the challenge all by yourself,
And I feel like before I was kind of, I wouldn't say okay, but I would just let it pass, basically, when I was younger. But now, as in, I won't deal with it. I won't deal with anything. So even if I asked him the last gig I had to not show up, and the next gig he did, I will speak to him, and I will speak to him the way he should be spoken to, basically.
And clearly he makes you feel uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
Did it reach a point where you were actually worried about your safety?
And mostly it's because if I'm alone and I'm walking to my car, for example, as in he's never showed me any signs of violence or anything. But as in I don't know, you know, as in I don't know what could
What could
click
go into
in
his head.
Like a
exactly.
Trojan horse, sort of.
Exactly.
Like waiting for the right moment,
Mhm.
maybe.
And I started really like taking action when I was having a lot of gigs, and most of them would of course be at night, and I would finish up late, and I have to walk back to my car, and most of the time I'm in heels, you know, and there were times when I would take a pair of trainers with me, so just in case he's there, I can run back to my car, basically.
Do you carry like any like? You hold your keys in your in
my
between.
my key is always open just in case I can or something. But as in it's very upsetting to me because for example pepper sprays, it's not legal here, you know, and I feel like it would be self-defense if something happened to me and I could use it would help.
It's actually like the fact that you know that pepper spray is not legal here shows me that you
checked so many times,
which just shows
I checked
your
what is
concern.
legal, basically. Because if this is a man, he's a big guy. Realistically, I can't fight with him, you know, as in he's not my size. I don't know what he's capable of. So it does make me very uncomfortable. But now it's kind of taken care of, I guess.
Do you suggest like all girls take like maybe a self-defense class? Take
I
care of-
want to do it. But I feel like
It shouldn't be the case, though, because everyone should feel
I
safe.
shouldn't
in their
have to
own-
do it.
Exactly,
You know?
but I mean, worst comes to worst, I guess you'd have that in your back pocket.
It's true. But even I can imagine, as in I wouldn't know, but I can imagine even if I had to be in that moment, I would be too scared to do anything. You know, even if I learned or like what to do in that case, if I see someone approaching me, I'm going to feel stuck. This happens to me in my dreams always, so I can imagine it would happen to me in real life. I hope that people aren't
happens-
listening to me and
No, no.
thinking, oh, maybe I should.
It happens in my dreams as well.
Yes.
I can't run in
Oh,
my
I
dreams.
can't-
The
I
ghosts
don't
always
run.
catch me.
Yes.
I've
Me
lost
too.
every single fight in my dreams.
Mhm. Yes.
And I think that's some of the insecurity that I have.
Could
Like,
be.
I'm always losing in my dreams.
In
and
your dreams. No.
It's really bad, you know. but
Mhm.
I can't take it, Liam. No, but full support to all those people who have similar issues going on.
I mean, I think it's a growing issue,
For
especially
sure.
with girls, where people either follow them or people honk their horn in the street or people go past comments.
I've seen it firsthand. Actually, I was walking in one of like the more busy cities in Malta, and it happens like that. You don't
Mm.
even.
It's like norm. It's
School
like
drivers, bus drivers. God knows. I've had it happen
You've
from
been
many cars.
catcalled.
Yes. So many times.
Is it something rooting from an education standpoint? So the people who are doing it are not as educated, or is it?
I mean, I wouldn't know the person, so I can't really judge or say. But most of them are people who work in like who drive trucks and all of the stuff.
And-
Most of them.
And is this something that happens in real life only, or is it taken digitally as well? So, in fact, we were seeing a bit of your.
Yeah, and
DMs.
we talked about it a bit in the beginning.
You want to share some of your DM experiences?
It's bad. Very bad.
So I think we're going to get a first-hand account of what a popular girl sees in her DMs. I mean,
I
more than
mean,
before. So before we kind of went
Let's
the
give them a
surface.
brief.
Yes,
I
yes,
think
yes.
before we went looked at the surface, but during our break, like 5-minute break, we actually delved a bit deeper and we saw quite
certain things I can't even say.
Yeah.
This podcast for sure.
and we saw quite some things that we didn't want to see necessarily.
Yes.
But maybe we can discuss it a bit and read a bit the messages that Gaia gets.
So most of it, for example.
I do this. Does that count as picking my nose?
No,
No,
Gaia.
that's fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
Acceptable.
Yes.
I had an itch.
Mamma mia, Gaia. These are all like much older men.
What's the age range we're talking about?
40 plus, I guess.
40 plus.
Yes.
And you are just turned
21.
21.
Yeah, so for the guys watching who are over 40, I don't think that
You're
in
not
the
safe.
you're in the
No.
target range of what Gaia is looking for.
No, who's looking for?
I will cover his name, but maybe you can see.
Read them out. Read a few messages out.
Beautiful, wow, super. Kemm intħelma. Oh, kemm nikdmu dak li l-sin. What up? So sexy. Gorgeous woman. This guy is like 70 years old. Great posture and photo. Are you prepared to be loved romantically in the future? Beautiful young lady, God bless. Amore ti amo, stunning.
I'm just like,
God,
uncomfortable
there
here.
are so much. It does make you very uncomfortable. I just don't reply. at all.
Exactly. What do you do? Like, do you like report the account? What's the best thing to do so that
Not-
this doesn't
Not
consistently
put energy into it. I think like even
Oh,
reporting.
listen to
the-
this.
that face isn't something.
You
Maybe
know-
switch the camera to her.
You know, every day I wait to see your latest pic. I'm a woman too, don't get me wrong, but I admire you so for so many different reasons. And then she sent me a picture of, I
What?
guess it's a shaver.
Okay. Can we have a look at the shaver? Is it like a? Okay, it's literally a picture of a.
It's just a
of
picture.
Shaver box.
I don't know. There are a lot.
And
It's-
this is on multiple social media platforms. I'm
Yes,
guessing.
mostly it's on my Facebook page.
Facebook tends to attract older people. as
Older
well.
people, yes, for sure. Kemm jixraqlek in-neutrali. And these are all people much older than I am. Yes, a lot of happy people.
Do you find it spike when you, for example, did you find it, for example, at the X Factor, like time? Was there more people? Or is it now that you're 18 or like 16 when you cross that line?
I don't think they actually know how old I am, and this has been happening since I was 15, 14, 16. So I feel like X Factor got me a lot of followers on my Instagram page, but they were actually people who followed me for my music. There were a few that I would say they were trying to, I don't know, back then.
Marry you probably.
Yes. But these people, the older generation, I don't think they even know that I sing or something. I don't know. But if they do, they've been following me since I was very young, you know? If they know about me, it's because if they added me as a friend and they're talking to me, they're messaging me, they know me from back then, I guess. I don't know how they would know about me now, as in I've released songs, but I haven't done anything as big as that, I would say.
Let's talk a bit about your songs, your music in
Mhm.
particular, because we didn't really delve into that.
And we're nearing the end of the podcast. How sad.
How sad. I've enjoyed every second of it.
What's the favorite song that you wrote?
Unlove Me.
Can you
I
sing
have
it?
a wish you could unlove me, 'cause you are not the one. Stop looking at my body, 'cause I'ma have to run. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I need someone to turn to. I need someone to turn to. Wish you could unlove me.
And so this is your favorite song that you wrote,
Yes.
and what makes it your favorite?
I feel like it's very honest. I've had friends in the past who I thought they were my friends, and it started out just as like a normal friendship, and then they would start showing signs that they want something more. I guess. And I wrote it as something very in general, I guess.
So
Because
you're
I've had-
talking about like guy friends.
Yes.
Okay. So you friend zone them.
Even girlfriends. Yes.
What do you mean?
As in, I am friends with anyone who wants to genuinely be my friend, but I've had both guys and girls trying to be more, I guess. And you know, I wrote a song kind of like that's where the line stops, I guess.
And what was the most difficult song for you to write, whether it's emotionally or whether it's
So I wrote a song. It's called 1111. Um, the song is about the number 11, basically. Because when I had done the Junior Eurovision, this number kind of started following me around everywhere. And I was 11 years old. It happened in November. It was the 11th edition of the competition. I sang number 11, and it just kept following me everywhere. And I feel like at that time, I was so new to it. I was so new to being in the public eye. That I found comfort in this number, but I say that I think that this number is kind of a guardian angel. And whenever I see this number nowadays, I just know that I'm in the right path, and I know that I have someone looking over me. And when I was writing that song, I felt like I had to put myself in 11-year-old Gaia's shoes. And I also have a song that is coming out very soon. I wrote a letter to my younger self, and I feel like that was a very emotional songwriting session, because there is some trauma, I would say, that I am still trying to get over, and I have found help for it, as in I'm not embarrassed to say, and I feel like it's very important to do. I've had therapy sessions, and I've been to different psychologists and whatever, and I feel like it's everyone should do it, because whether or not something big or also small happened in your life, it's good to talk to someone who doesn't really know you. It's good to just let it out.
it was actually a topic we were talking about in our last podcast about therapy.
In fact, it's a common factor that's coming up more in the younger
Yeah.
audience of
Which is good to see.
of our
Mhm.
guests.
So I think last three guests or two guests mentioned that they also go to therapy, which is a
Mhm.
great thing because it's showing that
It's
people.
amazing, because you get to just release everything, and you don't need to. So if I'm speaking to my friend about it, or if I'm speaking to my mom, you're going to get different opinions. You're actually going to someone who doesn't give a shit about
Yeah.
the
You said
opinions,
this
you
in
know.
our
Exactly.
podcast.
They're
They're just
neutral.
going to
Like you're paying them to tell you the truth.
Exactly. That's true.
But one thing I always find at the end of it is that no one knows the truth better than yourself. That
For
as
sure.
much help as you can get from people surrounding you, at the end of the day, you have to just put your head down and like work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't cry about what's happening to you for a few minutes, or maybe a day, but then it's just you can't stay there all the time.
Of
You can't
course.
stay in that position for, I mean, indefinitely. So just go to a training session and
Mm-hmm.
like go break a sweat, go meet a friend for a coffee you haven't spoken
Exactly.
to, DM someone who you haven't spoken to but you are really close with, or you would have liked
Mhm.
to get to know. What was the worst? They don't open the message, or they just don't reply, or they tell you, listen, I'm busy right now, not the right
Exactly.
time. I mean, you would have tried, I guess. So
Exactly.
don't leave any
Maybe
stone
you'll find
unturned.
someone else.
Exactly. There are many people you can
Mhm.
communicate with in the world. So, and there is that one person who wants to be your friend. There is that one person who wants to be a companion in your life. I think humans were built to help each other, and we're
Mhm.
built to be there for each other. Even though we're becoming more individualized and we're becoming more um, separated from each other, even how renting has become, and like no one's working together, for example, to buy a house, or everything is very split up. And as good as that may be, that you can become your own person individually, I feel like you can benefit so much by doing it within a team and doing it within a healthy community, that
For sure.
at the end of the day, just you're not in it alone, you know.
Exactly. I feel like that's something that many people who are very proud, and their pride is like the biggest thing to them. They would disagree with what you're saying, but at the end of the day, we're all human and we all need someone, for sure.
And actually, we thank you, Gaia, for sharing your story about
course.
such a sensitive topic, because I feel like it's not spoken about enough, and even sometimes we try put it in a lighter tone, or we speak like little of it, you know, like it was not given the importance is desired, but it's actually a very serious topic, and people really need to hear such stories, that it's so common that any girl can pass through something like that, and
Any girl, any guy, and
Exactly.
anything.
and how unsafe they may feel in a country which is their own, you know.
Of course.
And they're part of the community, and they're doing just as much as anyone else, and why should they feel less than anyone else? Because even though I may try put it in a lighter tone, I just, you know, but yes, we're all here to support, and I think we're trying. The world is slowly shifting and is slowly healing within that aspect. I think there are some sad events that may happen.
I feel like the younger generation are saving it in a way.
I think we're doing a good job. You think so, Nick?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like it's a shift in mentality. I think
Yes.
it's finding comfort speaking about more sensitive topics that isn't as they aren't as spoken about, which having those uncomfortable having those uncomfortable conversations will eventually accumulate to having a more successful outcome in the future, because speaking about these things will eventually help more people open their eyes to these things.
Course. Sure.
So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I think that's a nice way to wrap up another podcast on
Definitely.
Single-Handedly. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know who you want to see in the comments below. Gaia, tell them to like and subscribe, please.
Of course, please like and subscribe.
Where can people find your music, your socials?
You can find all my music on Spotify, Apple Music, on all streaming platforms. You just have to type in Gaia Cauchi.
Ooh, she's high on the SEO thing. Thank you guys. See you at the next episode. Over and out.